Asamaba nyina say Andrew Asimbisi of Parliament the new Suame MP now be see chairman Sabonso anan I friend John Darko Andrew oni the new majority leader aye Mahama Ayariga edible ni na nyina say no video no how maybe video no but let me give a brief background and some video no na nyina say John Darko no uko atofo sin CV what they call vetting for the finance minister now. For the finance minister, so say from 2002 to 2005, no your drama company be United Kingdom. So I say UK. Na na the new one friend John Darko or person suggest to say Forson Ebwa from 2002 to 2005. Na company be no because we call online aqua check it. Na company na Forson so yeah Jumama woman. Na any in existence into Forson Ebwa. Nena Mahama Ayariga, sorry, the new majority leader, and was schooling about UK Company Act. Into without wasting much time, we are going to have exchange, like between the new MP John Darko and the new majority leader, Mahama Ayariga, Koi.
Honorable John Darko.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity given to me to support the motion for the approval of the 3 nominees in the persons of Dr. Dominic Ayeni and Honorable Kaisel Atuba Forson and Honorable John Jinapo. In the case of Honorable John Jinapo and Dr. Ayeni, I had the opportunity to put some few questions to them during the vetting, and I believe their answers to the questions are out there. I believe the jury is still out there on whether their answers were satisfactory or not. But Mr. Speaker, I did not get a chance to ask the Finance Minister nominee 1 or 2 questions that I had, and I want to bring that to the fore. Mr. Speaker, when the Finance Minister nominee, Honorable Dr. Atuba Forson, appeared before the committee, he presented a CV which I went through. Mr. Speaker, when I went through the CV, I saw that the Honorable Finance Minister nominee has stated that he was once a director of a company called Protect Integrated Services Limited in the UK. Mr. Speaker, when I tried to search on the company, I realized that honorable nominee's dates in which he claimed he was a director showed that he said he was a director from 2003 to 2005. The search at the UK's company registry, which is on the internet, shows that that company was actually set up in February 2005. I also realized that when you go through the company's record, Honorable Minister nominee's name wasn't there as a director, contrary to what he has stated on his CV. And then a search also showed that that company was liquidated sometime in 2009. I mean, this is going to be a minister of finance for the country. And I was wondering how somebody who is going to run our country will become a director, is going to run our finance ministry, was once a director of a company which has been folded up. And then the fact that the date in which he claimed he was a director clearly shows that he wasn't a director at the time. He was a director. The company was actually set up in 2005 when he said that he was a director in 2003 to 2005. So, Mr. Speaker, if it's a mistake, we would like to have the Honorable Minister nominee to come and clarify that.
Hold on. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the practice in the UK is that when you are going to start a business, initially you don't register it. There are few businesses that start as registered businesses. You start under a concept known as trading at. So you trade as a particular name and you do business until the business is well established to a point where you can now go and formally register that name as the business. So he started trading as that name and worked for about 2 years, after which he then went and registered the company. The records are there. You don't understand the concept, you can Google it, trading as, and you will see it that is a very common practice that is encouraged in the UK. And so this business was conducted in the UK, and that is how it started. That is why at the point that you are talking about, it wasn't registered, but it actually was an existing business. Go and check. Just Google it. Google it on your phone. You will see that in the UK, it is a common and accepted practice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Yes, Honorable Darko, you may conclude.
Mr. Speaker, very specific point of clarification.
No, I'm not giving you the opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, that's a clear misinformation to the House, Mr. Speaker, on UK company law and practice.
Mr. Speaker.
Hold on. Let me give the opportunity to the chairman of the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is observable from the fact that members get up without catching the eyes of the Speaker, then they will put on the microphone. Mr. Speaker, they have gone through an orientation. So this habit can no longer be entertained in this House. So once again, members should take note that by practice and convention in this House, you get up until you catch the eyes of the Speaker. You do not put on your microphone. It's not looking good. We've gone through the orientation exercise with them. So I don't want to see this reoccurring.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable John Darko, you may continue.
Well, Honorable Speaker, so I was saying the company, the registered company that we know, which is the Protect Integrated Services Limited, was registered in 2005. I don't care what my learned colleague on the other side is saying, that you have to operate the company at a particular or for a particular period before it is registered. I think that it is inaccurate. What we are dealing with is a registered company, and that is what it has provided to this House and the people of Ghana, that he was a director of that company, Protect Integrated Services Limited, from 2003 to 2005. If it's a mistake, he should come to this House to come and correct it. This is a House of record. He is going to be the Minister for Finance, and it is important that some of these things are corrected. Mr. Speaker, on that I yield.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. You take the last from the majority side, from Honorable Yusuf Suleimana.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to contribute to the motion that is before us this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, indeed, the three gentlemen that have been nominated and vetted are really assets to this nation. Mr. Speaker, we all know Honorable Forson. We are aware of his humility, somebody who is very focused, very diligent, and very knowledgeable. And this was demonstrated when he was vetted. His responses were apt. The Speaker, when he was asked on the issue of tax exemptions, he was clear that we should give tax exemptions to companies that really deserve this, and that we should be fair in giving out these tax exemptions. And that, for me, is something that we all have to take into consideration. And this is a person that needs to occupy this very important position so that he will demonstrate fairness and not be biased. Mr. Speaker, let me also touch on my own brother, my younger brother, Honorable John Abdullahi Jinapo, a young man with vision, a young man who has demonstrated competence, a young man very knowledgeable when it comes to energy and finance, a young man who is able to give us assurance that Dumso will be a thing of the past. We have just inherited Dumso, something that the John Mahama administration had worked to resolve. We inherited it from you. And this young gentleman gave us the hope that Dumso will not resurface in this country. And he has taken pragmatic steps to ensure that we don't sleep in darkness. You don't sleep in darkness. And so you should begin clapping for him. You should begin clapping for him. That the mess you have caused, this young man, a visionary leader, has given us hope. And these are the kind of people that we expect His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to put into very strategic positions like this. And so I call on you, unanimously, to approve these men of integrity, so that the mess that we have inherited, they will be able to resolve that for us. Mr. Speaker, lastly, because I don't want to take so much time. Lastly, Honorable Dominic Ayeni. When the name is mentioned, people shiver. This is a man that we all know. His credibility level is high. You can compare him to other outgoing attorney general and what have you. You can compare them and you see the difference. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Dominic Ayeni, a lecturer, an experienced lawyer, in fact, some of us seated here are even his students. I can see some of them seated there and listening. This is a man who taught you, and you know his worth. And that's the man who's now coming to lead you when it comes to issues of law and issues of courts in this country. I think you should be clapping for Mahama for giving you such a respected person that even in the international front, when he speaks, he brings credibility to Ghana. And so, once again, I want to call on you.
Thank you. To
rise up and give a unanimous approval to this young man to save us from the position that we have inherited.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Lastly, we will listen to Honorable Kojo Nkrumah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it appears that the NDC has a knack for three wise men. When President Mills was in power, he had his three wise men. And President Mahama appears to have started off with his three wise men, our brothers who have been nominated and who have performed creditably when they appeared before the Appointments Committee. Dr. Ayene was Deputy Attorney General when I was called to the bar. He actually handed me my qualifying certificate of law. His track record is well known and well respected. We wish him well. He's not only going to be Attorney General, he's also going to be Minister responsible for justice. And Mr. Speaker, justice is a subject that across the country many people still look forward to. Court infrastructure, residences for magistrates and judges, the kind of budgets that must go there, the availability of lawyers for legal aid to ensure that justice is done in the nooks and crannies of this country. These are things that we expect Dr. Ayene in addition to other functions, to pay attention to, and we wish him well. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable John Jinapo, our brother, is well versed in the subject of energy and finance. He has offered a lot of explanations about take or pay and things that are going on in the past. Mr. Speaker, no matter the explanations you give, and I speak as a former member of cabinet, there are a few lessons that we can share with our colleagues. No matter the explanations that you give, what the people of Ghana are waiting for is that fuel prices don't go up, the electricity prices don't go up, the fuel is available at the pumps, that the lights don't go off. We wish our brother well, and we hope he delivers in that area. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Dr. Forson spoke about 4 things that I want to briefly comment on. One was on raising revenue. The Honorable Dr. Forson says that his target is to move tax to GDP ratio from 13% to about 18%. That's about 500 basis points. Mr. Speaker, 1% of GDP is about 10 billion Ghana cedis. So to move it from 13 to 18 is about 50 billion Ghana cedis. At a time when, as we have agreed across the political divide, some tax handles should be removed. E-levy, COVID, betting. E-levy and COVID alone, nothing less than 20 billion. So what he's promising us is that he's going to take away about 20 billion from the revenue handles, but still grow it by another 50. We are hoping that he will do that without introducing new taxes or renaming some of the taxes. And whatever he will do in that area, we will support him and help him. If it works well and Ghana moves to 18% of GDP, it works well for all of us. Mr. Speaker, he spoke about expenditure cuts and says that he's committed to it. On this side of the House, we had already advertised that we are looking forward to about a cut of 3% of GDP. So we'll be looking forward to the expenditure cuts that he will present in his first budget, and we'll help him to achieve it. However, Mr. Speaker, whatever cuts we do, we should ensure that quality of projects are not being sacrificed. We should expect that ongoing projects that are delivering value to Ghanaians are not sacrificed. Yesterday, the Honorable Agboja at his vetting mentioned that commitment on roads is about 100 billion. That means about 100 billion worth of road projects ongoing. These cuts, we are hoping, will not lead to a stop of the major critical road and other infrastructure projects across the country. Mr. Speaker, the third thing he spoke about, which I want to briefly comment on, is debt management. That under his administration, they will do better in debt management. At the same time, he's considering taking some more money from the IMF. That's not a grant, that's debt. What is that debt going to do? Worsen our debt situation or improve it? So, Mr. Speaker, we'll be looking forward to these things and helping our brother Ato to achieve those objectives. And finally, the respected minority leader drew attention to the fact that when the president issued the EI on the ministries, he said Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. But when he issued the communication to the speaker, he said Minister responsible for finance. We will urge our brother to avoid the trap of creating the impression that he's responsible for the economy. The minister responsible for fiscal policy, the minister responsible for finance, like my brother Ricketts knows, is the minister responsible for fiscal policy, not the whole economy. There are external economic developments that he doesn't have control over. There are things happening in the monetary policy space that he doesn't have control over. There are real sector economic issues in other areas that other ministers will be taking decisions and impacting the economy. He doesn't have control over that. So from our lessons, we wish them well. We will give them all the support that we can. If it works well for all of us. And with these few words, Mr. Speaker, we will support the motion that our brothers be approved to take up their position. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion listed Yes. Yes. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion listed 11 in today's order paper, say aye. Aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, It is obvious. The ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. And that this Honorable House has adopted His Excellency the President's nomination of Honorable Dr. Kasil Atoba Forson as Minister Designate for Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. Honorable John Abdullah Jinapo as Minister Designate for Ministry of Energy. And Honorable Dr. Dominic Akulintiga Ayini as Minister Designate for the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. Honorable members, on behalf of the House, I would like to extend our congratulations to our own brothers in this House, and we hope that they will make us proud. Yes. Honorable First Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. As the mover of the motion, I want to use the opportunity to thank the Appointment Committee and the entire House for adopting the report of the unanimous decision of the committee by consensus. Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the nominee, I sincerely thank the entire House. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Leadership? Leadership? Yes.
Honorable Speaker, we intend to go and continue the vetting of the president nominees. And I think on that note, we will ask that you suspend the House for us to allow the Appointment Committee to do that work, and then we can come back with the second report. That was the agreement.